What's up, cool people? My name's Matt, aka That Random Christian Gamer. Welcome to tonight's live stream. Hi, Seth. Hope you're doing well. So, general gist, we're going to be continuing our Bible study in Job with chapters 17 and 18. And then we can all just kind of hang around while I play some Hades. I kind of wanted to get past that quickly because I also wanted to mention / present some other ideas that I had to kind of mix up at least the latter half of these live streams, where it starts with Bible study and then I do some gaming stuff. So I have recently mentioned that, you know, I might like to get a little bit of extra gaming video recording stuff just to kind of try and like get that stuff caught up with the extra Bible studies that I've recorded in like prior months and such. And I figure, you know, the second half of the Thursday streams are really kind of unassigned for the most part, with the kind of sort of exception of like before the first Friday of the month, I'm always doing Gems of War. But aside from that, it's really, there's no official schedule for what I do in the second half of these streams. So I figure, well, maybe a couple of weeks or a couple of times as I mean, it's generally side questing stuff, but I also figure, like, if I'm really itching to get gaming recordings caught up with the Bible study stuff, that might end up being the best chance I have. You know, I personally think I might end up preferring that over, like, running an extra hour on the gaming-only sessions. So there's something I'm putting out there. I also kind of, again, this is more recording stuff. But I also was like, I haven't really scheduled a slot for game reviews, and I haven't done any of those in a while. And there's actually some of those that I might want to do a little bit of like set up replaying a game before I then go and do a full-fledged review of it, because, like, for example, I'm playing Borderlands 4 right now. I realized I never did any reviews, I don't think, of the first 3 numbered games, or the first 3 main, I don't know, the Borderlands 1 through 3, and I was like, well, if I ever want to do reviews of those, I'm probably going to have to start them over since I'm on a new system from before, so I might want to get, like, introductory portions of those out of the way, so I'm not trying to do a review in the midst of, like, whatever intro song those are doing. But anyway, when I get back to the 3-hour schedule, that assumes that I'm doing that. That's the thing with other things that I have going on. I don't know if there's an active plan to get back to that 3-hour schedule. So, like, trying to make things work with what I've got, I don't know. Again, these are possibilities. I'm not saying for sure that it's gonna happen, but it might. It's something I'm thinking about. So, I don't know. Yeah, even though 3-hour ones generally haven't been so planned to be 3 hours, but yeah, yeah. Anyway, okay. Well, Twitch ads are gonna start soon, so something to consider. Certainly wouldn't mind input on that, but also it's like, yeah, especially if things get really out of hand with the difference, I might just go ahead and push it through anyway. Okay. Yeah. We have exercises to redeem later on. Alright, let me switch scenes quick here while I'm on an ad break on Twitch. And then maybe while that's going on, I can also go ahead and get my stuff for rolling dice for the exercise later. Yeah. Okay. Well, I should say at least for the exercise later. Depending on how we handle Hades, I might end up using dice for that too. All right. One other thing to mention before recordings. Weekly reward thing going on now till June 5th, huh? Yeah, honestly, I'm not even real sure what's going on with that. Was that the thing that I saw pop up at the top of the chat when I first signed on to Twitch today? Maybe. I don't know. I didn't really pay much attention to it. It looked like some kind of deal on something. Earn badges and channel. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess I did see a new thing about some badges and stuff. Like, wasn't really quite sure what that was all about, but yeah, okay, I guess, per Seth here, and Twitch as well, I guess, So I guess you have to be watching something from the same channel 3 days in a given week to get that stuff. I don't know. I wasn't even entirely aware that that was going on. Never mind the fact that I have no clue on the details of it. I would hope it just defaults to, you know, channel points, because those are like a guaranteed thing set up on practically every channel on Twitch. Not like, I don't know if badges really are. Although, I think Twitch, like, makes its own badges and stuff here and there. possibly for things like this or other channel-related events, possibly like, you know, streamiversaries and whatnot. But don't quote me on that. Or like, shoot, I think Seth here is actually showing like do they call it a rewind? I don't know. Whatever. But something from that, I think. Anyway. Okay, well, badge stuff and or channel points if you watch more things on Twitch for a couple of weeks. Through June 5th, apparently. Okay. And I'm sure, I mean, there was plenty of time to figure out other schedule stuff for the month later. Right now, we've already kind of... Yeah, I was going to say, I think we've already kind of delayed the Bible study a bit. Not that I think it's going to be especially long this time around, because chapter 17's a bit short, and 18's not a whole lot longer. But who knows where a discussion might take us. But yes, I think all things have been said and done that are not directly related to the planned stream. So, or I should say the planned stream content, maybe. Anyway, okay. I think I'm gonna, you know, start recording here and get into the Bible study. Here we go. Okay. So we're looking at Job chapter 17 now. And, if you've made it this far into the book of Job, you really kind of already have a general sense of Job's story. But if you happen to be hopping in right now for some reason, starting with this chapter, the short version is, you know, Job had a really good life, also was really good at following God's commands. But somebody called Satan kind of wanted to put Job to the test. And since God was pointing Job out as an example of someone righteous, I guess because of that, partially in a way, God agrees to let Job be tested. So Job loses everything that he has pretty much, and also gets boils all over him. And since then, there's been a lot of back and forth between him and some friends who initially came to comfort him, but then they heard him speak and didn't agree with what he was saying, so there's been kind of a bunch of arguing back and forth. They think he must have sinned and is being punished. Job maintains that he's innocent, which we know that essentially for the purposes of this situation, he kind of is. Not saying that he, like, never did anything wrong, but it described him, I believe, as, you know, a righteous man. And we know that he wasn't being punished, per se. But, yeah, there's, you know, in amongst this back and forth, there's, you know, been continued insistence from the friends of either saying outright or implying that Job is guilty. And Job basically telling them that he knows all the things that they're saying about, wicked people and righteous people and things that God does, or characteristics of God even. And so, yeah. Meanwhile, Job's description of his circumstance continues to pile up how bad it sounds. So anyway, that's the gist of things. So let's, I guess, get things started with chapter 17 here. I don't think there's too much else context that's needed, because what he's saying right now isn't directly in response to a specific person. So, yeah. We'll see what Job says here in chapter 17 now. My spirit is crushed, and my life is nearly snuffed out. The grave is ready to receive me. I'm surrounded by mockers. I watch how bitterly they taunt me. You must defend my innocence, O God, since no one else will stand up for me. You have closed their minds to understanding, but do not let them triumph. They betray their friends for their own advantage, so let their children faint with hunger. And since this chapter isn't terribly long, I'm going to pause there for a little bit. Yeah, spirit crushed, life nearly snuffed out. I said this in a previous chapter, but Job really seems to believe that he is, at death's door here. So, yeah. I think that just almost makes his mentality around his suffering even worse, because he's convinced that he this is pretty much how he's going to be until he dies. Having basically nothing left to comfort him, being physically afflicted with boils, having, nightmares or at least strange visions of a sort that disturb him at night. I believe a chapter or two ago he talked about, quote, gaunt flesh on him. And so, that implies he's, kind of looking malnourished in a way, probably, or at least, physically, even beyond the boils, it looks like he's fading away. But on top of that, he has to deal with at least his friends, potentially other people who just continue to point fingers at him and make assumptions. And I mean, he uses the word taunt. I guess it could be considered that. I don't know. Not only does he keep being accused of, so in some cases, major sin, apparently, even if they don't know what exactly it is, they still assume that he's committed some serious offense against God. But, there's that they're kind of communicating, and then even more directly, they continue to talk about, well, here's all this bad stuff that we know happens to wicked people, with the implication that it applies to Job, whether or not they say that outright. And Yeah, it's pretty much just like he's the only one on his side of the argument, it seems. So, thus verse 3 here. And has God actually closed the minds of those around him, or is he just like sick and tired of their stubbornness in insisting that he is guilty? And it's gotten to a point where they've already kind of begun just repeating the same accusations and other claims. So whether or not God actually closed their minds to understanding, it certainly probably seems like that to Job. And I realized I used two kind of conflicting descriptors there. It's very likely that it appears that way to Job. All right. Verse 6, I guess. God has made a mockery of me among the people. They spit in my face. My eyes are swollen with weeping, and I am but a shadow of my former self. The virtuous are horrified when they see me. The innocent rise up against the ungodly. The righteous keep moving forward, and those with clean hands become stronger and stronger. I'll leave that last little, or the last, probably the biggest section by itself. Yeah, just Job further emphasizing how much it seems to other people around him, at least, that he has, like, fallen from grace, so to speak. Now, we're only hearing from these three particular friends of Job's, but it's possible there are other people that pass by, maybe even say things to Job or his friends, or like there might be other stuff going on that we're not directly reading about aside from Job's description of what's going on. Are people literally, spitting in his face? Not sure. But it certainly feels like, at least based on the interactions between Job and his friends, that verbally he's receiving the equivalent of a spit in the face, with all the accusations and descriptions of wicked people that are implied to, apply to him. Eyes are swollen with weeping. Yeah, I could see that, given how much just suffering Job must be experiencing through all this, or must have experienced. This is obviously things that happened in the past. As far as these other lines, I'm just like, they might not seem to directly apply 100%, but I mean, that could also be Job's description of what's going on that we're not necessarily directly reading in any other way. Like, perhaps other virtuous people who knew of Job's character walk by, see him, and are like, holy cow. Either, what did he do that was so wrong? Or, geez, could that even happen to me? Like, Job was so righteous, and if that could happen to him, would that possibly happen to me too? Yeesh. Innocent rise up against the ungodly. I figure that's like an always kind of thing. That's not really specific to Job's situation. Righteous keep moving forward. I realize I said righteous up here when it was using the word virtuous. They're pretty similar in meaning. But I'm sure some people, like any priests or Levites who might pass by, or anybody of that kind of status, would just keep moving along, in part because they aren't... They're supposed to keep themselves clean, and in Job's case in particular, it would be real easy to become ceremonially unclean if they interacted much with Job, especially if they actually came into contact with him physically. But anyway, I suppose I don't need to describe how every last one of those could be connected. So, let me continue on with verse 10, and I'll read through the end of the chapter. As for all of you, come back with a better argument, though I still won't find a wise man among you. My days are over. My hopes have disappeared. My heart's desires are broken. These men say that night is day. They claim that darkness is light. What if I go to the grave and make my bed in darkness? What if I call the grave my father and the maggot my mother or my sister? Where then is my hope? Can anyone find it? No. My hope will go down with me to the grave. We will rest together in the dust. So now Job is calling his situation hopeless. Again, kind of talking about what other people say about him and how it's like they from his perspective, clearly don't know what they're talking about. They're probably not literally saying that night is day and darkness is light, but the claims of a righteous man like Job being wicked, I believe is a word that's been used a bunch. Like, claiming that he is wicked when he hasn't done anything wrong. It's like kind of the same deal in his mind. They might as well be saying the opposite of what's true, because in his case, they are. Because they're calling him wicked when he didn't really do anything in particular wrong. But yeah, that last part, I mean, it might not necessarily be that he currently considers his situation hopeless, although again, he said before things that show that he thinks he's about to die. But, I mean, he did also say, in a fairly recent chapter, that he's still putting his hope in God. So, I mean, that certainly implies that he still has hope. But if he then dies, then it's like, well, where is his hope? I mean, he's dead. Dead people don't really have hopes. They don't really have anything because they're dead, other than whatever their eternity has set up for them. Their eternal fate, I guess you might say. But yeah, I think all those descriptors of like going to the grave, making his bed in darkness, calling the grave his father, all that kind of stuff is just saying, if I die like this, or really at all, potentially, he might be saying, but especially dying like that, it's what kind of hope does that give? So, yeah, again, he thinks his days are over. He does say right here, my hopes have disappeared. So, he's probably even kind of given up on the idea that he might potentially be able to recover from this. In any case, yeah, just with all that he's dealing with, just from what Satan brought upon him, plus he keeps getting these accusations hurled at him, and just, yeah, that's something that I imagine would break most people's hopes. Not saying that his situation is actually hopeless, but he feels that way. There's a note here, okay, where it says the grave, it could be replaced with Sheol, otherwise known as the pit. That was kind of their view of the afterlife. Just, you kind of go in the ground somewhere. Not necessarily good or bad in a way, but it's clearly that is the end of your life, though, and it was generally assumed to be just a dark pit type thing. Anyway, so yeah, again, like, I think sometimes because we're only reading about Job's situation and not, like, necessarily seeing it, and because a lot of what we're hearing about Job's situation, aside from the initial testing, or the initial things to test Job, I don't know how best to word that, but anyway, the initial stuff that Satan did to him, aside from that, basically everything else we're hearing about Job's situation is coming from the mouth of Job himself. And whether it's all literally happening as he describes, or he's, like, using metaphors, either way, like, it just keeps sounding worse and worse and worse with every description. So, yeah, not exactly a situation where most people would be optimistic. And that's Job's situation here. And that kind of does it for chapter 17 then. Okay, next chapter. After I get some water. More words from friend number 2, and I call him friend number 2 because he was the second one to speak. You know, out of the 3 named friends. Anyway. Okay. Okay, Job 18. So we've been going back and forth with the conversation between Job and his friends. Again, Job continues saying that he's innocent, and to the best of our knowledge, he essentially is. There's a bunch of bad stuff happening to Job, but it's not because he did anything wrong. It's just because God pointed him out as a good example to a being known as Satan. And Satan's like, okay, well, take away his stuff and, like, you know, make his situation bad and see how he feels about you then, God. So God maybe isn't directly causing the bad things, but he's allowing Satan to cause the bad things for Job. And yeah, Job maintains that he's innocent. His friends have continually accused him of being wicked and describing wicked people in various ways that are just like, well, yeah, to the best of our understanding, you, oh wicked man, are pretty much destined for all of this stuff that we know from the teachings of our elders. These things happen to wicked people. There was kind of an initial round of Job speaking, friend speaking, and then Job, and then a different friend, and it went through all three friends like that. We've heard from Eliphaz a second time, but apparently now we're going to hear from Bildad a second time. And in case it's relevant to what Bildad says, last chapter, Job was, well, describing how much he is, you know, being ridiculed by people around him, not even just his friends necessarily. And, you know, it feels like he's at his death's door, like his hope is basically gone. And yeah, that's how Job's feeling. So whether or not it's directly in response to those specific words of Job, now we get more from Bildad. So let's go. Job chapter 18. Then Bildad the Shuhite replied, "How long before you stop talking? Speak sense if you want us to answer. Do you think we are mere animals? Do you think we're stupid? You may tear out your hair in anger, but will that destroy the earth? Will it make the rocks tremble? Surely the light of the wicked will be snuffed out. The sparks of their fire will not glow. The light in their tent will grow dark. The lamp hanging above them will be quenched. Confident stride of the wicked will be shortened. Their own schemes will be their downfall. The wicked walk into a net. They fall into a pit. A trap grabs them by the heel. A snare holds them tight. A noose lies hidden on the ground. A rope is stretched across their path." Okay, pausing there for a bit. So, yeah. So far, it doesn't seem real specific to what Job just said. Either Bildad doesn't understand what Job is saying, or he thinks it's all a bunch of nonsense that doesn't reflect reality. Maybe a mix of both, but yeah. I will admit, Job has kind of been taken some verbal shots at his friends lately. So the kind of angry slash maybe even a little bit bitter responses aren't super surprising. But also, like, the friends have been wrong in their primary claims thus far. And the things that they have said correctly, Job already knows. And so they have not been helping him at all, really. Certainly not helping him feel better. But, yeah, Bildad thinks Job's spitting a bunch of nonsense. And whatever seems like it's going well for them, eventually it's not gonna go well, is what that all boils down to. So I see no sense in, belaboring the point, especially because these sentiments have pretty much been, spoken and described with different details and metaphors and stuff before. So, yeah. Think I'll move on to verse 11, although I think we're just going to get a whole bunch more of that same kind of thinking. But let's read on and be sure. And the rest of this is all basically one section, so I guess I'll read verses 11 through 21 here and at least read through the end of the chapter. Terrors surround the wicked, and trouble... Sorry, let me redo that. Terrors surround the wicked and trouble them at every step. Hunger depletes their strength, and calamity waits for them to stumble. Disease eats their skin, death devours their limbs. They are torn from the security of their homes, and are brought down to the king of terrors. The homes of the wicked will burn down. Burning sulfur rains on their houses. Their roots will dry up, and their branches will wither. All memory of their existence will fade from the earth. No one will remember their names. They will be thrust from light into darkness, driven from the world. They will have neither children nor grandchildren, nor any survivor in the place where they lived. People in the west are appalled at their fate. People in the east are horrified. They will say, "This was the home of a wicked person, the place of one who rejected God." Yeah, just more descriptions of what happens to wicked people. Although, some of these lines did stand out a little bit as possible references or things that I might want to say other comments on. So, first off, a couple of things that directly apply to Job and his situation that was described at some earlier point, whether by Job himself or just by general narration, for lack of a better way to put it. Terrors surrounding, like, Job described having disturbing visions or something to that effect in some of the early chapters. One of the early chapters, I should say. Hunger depleting their strength, I think that's just kind of implied. Disease eats their skin. I mean, the boils that Job has, that he's like... They literally bother him so much that he's scraping his skin with pottery. Yeah, pretty bad skin situation going on for Job. Torn from the security of their homes. I'm not sure that one applies to Job so much. I mean, I know there was some place where his children were having a feast that, like, collapsed and killed all of his children in the midst of that. But it didn't necessarily say he lost his own home, I don't think. Anyway, aside from things that seem potentially pointed at Job's specific situation, burning sulfur raining on houses. I think it's pretty commonly believed, if not outright described, back in Genesis with the whole Sodom and Gomorrah situation, like the way that they were punished and essentially eliminated from existence was some kind of thing possibly akin to, if not directly, burning sulfur raining down upon them. And they were described as very wicked people, including and especially perhaps in like ways of to be blunt but also broad about it, sexually deviant. Given that that's one of like the poster stories of like, you know, wickedness among humanity, Sodom and Gomorrah, and that being their punishment or something like that, could be implied that Bildad is making a reference to that as a way of describing how wicked he thinks Job might potentially be. Again, an assumption derived from the fact that, you know, Job is in this terrible situation. Assuming all that happened as a punishment for sin of his. Even though that's not the case. He's not being punished. But Job's friends don't know that. So their sort of theological framework, if you will, kind of assumes that, wow, Job must actually be a really wicked person. Now, as far as, like, the memory of wicked people fading from the earth, or them not having children or grandchildren. Now, okay, let me address that first part. I think especially nowadays, maybe this was not so much the case back then. It's not even necessarily described when in history the story of Job took place, but I think it's pretty safe to say it was after the Israelites settled the Promised Land, because somebody mentioned their ancestors settling in the land. Although it isn't necessarily then, it could be even earlier, like maybe a couple of generations after Abraham or something. I don't know. Anyway, I digress. But at least nowadays, the memory of wicked people's existence fading from the earth, history books make that a little less common. In fact, they make it more likely that we remember some of the really wicked people out there. Because then we look at those people and what they did and say, that's wrong. Let's not do that again. cases in point, obvious things, obvious people as examples, like Hitler, Stalin, Mussolini, take your pick of dictators who just committed terrible things, whether genocide or... Actually, I think it's mostly genocide in a lot of those cases. The ones we remember as being the most wicked. And this is more of having neither children nor grandchildren, that's like... it might be true in some cases and not so much in others. Yeah. The sad reality of humanity is that we might look at some of these wicked people and, or at least a lot of us might have examples of these wicked people throughout history and be like, yeah, we're not going to do that. Definitely stay away from. And yet some people essentially do it again, perhaps with a slightly different flavor, shall we say, of tyranny and oppression and just outright horribleness. Because people are people. They're, just inclined at least towards being sinful, wicked, broken, messed up, whatever. Like, it's sadly a thing that happens. The Israelites throughout the book of Judges were not the only people in history to continue repeating the same mistakes. It's a common problem of humanity throughout the centuries, millennia even. It might not necessarily always be the same people who go back and do the same thing, but different subgroups of people might then do the bad thing that a different group of people did before. And anyway, yeah, all that to say, yeah, there's a lot of wickedness out there. And the things Bildad is saying may apply some of the time, but certainly not all the time. And I think now, them being remembered as someone who rejected God, that could be more likely true in more cases. But still, again, we have another example from Bildad of generalizations that don't necessarily apply in every situation. And that's even as he's describing people who are actually wicked, which Job, to our knowledge, isn't. So if even in his claims about people as a whole, if he's, making such broad statements that they don't apply all the time, like, it's certainly not fair to assume all of it would apply to Job too. But why else would he be bringing all of this up if he doesn't think that there's a decent chance of it applying to Job? Anyway, okay, well, otherwise, again, it's just him describing the same kinds of things. about wicked people and their inevitable just their inevitable fates in general. But like I was trying to think of a word that was like specifically bad fates. But anyway, okay, well, that's it for this chapter, and I think that's it from Bildad for this round. Yep, Job responds to him in the next chapter, but we'll wait and see what he says then. Which is not going to be until next week. OBS is going to briefly disconnect. But actually, in light of that, I am going to figure out random exercise stuff. At least the first one. Okay, just getting to my notes on the stream exercises. Alrighty. So, which exercise am I gonna do first? Hiya. I have rolled a 6, which, of course, is the lovely burpees. Here's hoping for a small rep count per set. Well, there's a 2. I'm obviously not only going to do 2 burpees, though. Let's see how many... And, of course, I get a 6 after that. So, gonna try and do 12 of them, I guess. And this will be another one of those cases where we that I'm a bit out of shape. Like, at least it wasn't 36. Yeah, there's no way in heck I'd be doing 36 of those. Yeah. You know what? Yeah, I guess I should pin that before it possibly disappears. Unpin the old message. Pin this one that there's one random exercise left. Okay. And now, burpees, yay. Alright. I got a bit close to the fan there. Also, that random thing in like my collarbone or whatever, I'm still kind of feeling it. Yeah. Now, if I recall correctly, I don't even necessarily need to be doing push-ups with these. But, that's just where my mind goes when I think of burpees. Anyway, I think I've done 5 so far. 6. Yeah, this is gonna take me a bit. 7. I will say, since push-ups aren't a required part of it, I may start to not go down as far with those. Okay. 8. 9. I gotta say, honestly, I get kind of out of breath really quickly with these. Okay. Was I at 8 or 9? I forget. Oh well. Okay. I think that's 10. 11. And 12. I think. Unless somebody wants to correct me on that and say that was only 11. Okay. And probably not quite enough time to figure out another exercise just yet. So I'll just leave the pin there. You know. All right, you know what? Fine. One more for good measure, even though I took a little bit of a break. There. Now I know for sure, without a doubt, I did at least 12. Okay. Time to run ads on Twitch and switch gears here. Okay. Twitch folks, I'll see y'all in a little bit. Okay. Gotta edit stream information on Twitch as well. Okay. Time to boot up Hades onto Xbox. I guess it was kind of in the quick resume state. Okay. Ditching background music from my computer because the game's gonna have enough sound of its own. Although it does tend to be a little on the quiet side of things. Hades does for some reason. Hello? Okay, you know what? Maybe I'll quit Hades and then open it back up again. Maybe that'll get it to work. Oh, man. But yeah, that little collarbone thing from last week that I have no clue why it happened. I felt it a little bit. Especially when I first went to do those burpees. Actually, later reps, I kind of didn't feel it as much. Makes me wonder if I had popped it slightly last week and then kind of popped it back this week. Anyway, okay.
Hey, pal, watch where you throw those bloodstone things of yours. You drop them, you go pick them up, you understand? But if somebody gives you grief, you got my permission to chuck one right in his eye.
I'll just aim generally for the midsection, since the eyes are a lot harder to hit in my experience.
Okay, right. So I think we're pretty much ready to go. Did I have any of these
Power.
active? Eternal Rose, next boon you find be from Aphrodite. Yeah, no new weapons. So this items from the well have durations increased by +4 encounters. I'm not sure how much we want that. Enter Chaos Gates without losing health. Blessings from Chaos will have a +20% chance to be rare or better. And then there's the Shattered Shackle. Attack special and cast each deal +50% damage while not empowered by a boon. Yeah. So, we've got 4 possible keepsakes here. And... okay, Seth wants to do weapon first. We have 4 possible options at the moment. But if you want to make sure that we switch, then I guess we'll just say there are 3. Yeah, I know there will eventually be 6 options. Based on the spots shown here. Okay. Rolling a d6. If I get a 1 or a 6, I will re-roll. And what I got was a 5. So I assume that means the bow here.
I think I need my bow.
I figured this wasn't necessarily going to go in reading order like we normally do, because if that was the case, that would actually be this. But, or debatably be this. I figured we'd go from... start with the closest to the keepsakes, since that was the first weapon that we had. Anywho. Yeah. I don't know why it's asking me to redo all this. There we go. Whatever. Yeah. I figured I probably don't actually have to. It just showed up there, so I was like, do I? For a second. Okay. Now for keepsakes. Again, 4 options. Re-rolling on 1 and 6. And I rolled a 2. Therefore, we're equipping the Bone Hourglass. Alrighty. We are ready for the run, I suppose.
Why, thank you.
You're nothing like your father.
Athena.
I mean that as a compliment. He cut himself off from the rest of us. Many times have we attempted peace to no avail.
Okay. You know what? This one has a scroll thing for a fated choice. So we're just gonna go right for that one, I guess. Because those don't always appear. Okay. So we're getting Divine Flourish, which means the special is stronger and can deflect.
Strength of the goddess.
Special is Y, right? I think that's what counts as the special. Well, that room was pretty easy. But it's the first room, so duh. I'm not even sure I always encounter enemies in that room.
Welcome.
Is it just me, or is this bow dealing more damage than some of the other weapons do? No, thank you. Okay. Room cleared. Gain 10 of those things. Now, based on what I remember from last week, maybe I should try smashing everything just to see. So far, nothing's dropping, though. This is definitely not a Zelda game where, you know, everything that you break has a decent chance of dropping money. Okay. And there do not seem to be any path choices here. So, next room.
More numbskulls.
See, now those enemies, I guess, are just kind of weak.
Cries of battle.
He went into the trap.
You are a most impressive
Ares.
kin. For by my estimation, you have slain at least 1,000 souls down there. Souls mostly having died before, but still.
Okay, no fated choice here. So I imagine we'll just roll to see what I get then. And I have rolled a 3. After using Death Defiance, deal more damage that encounter. Okay.
It's me or them.
Might have liked some of that other stuff a bit more, but whatever. Okay, yeah, B is that thing. I tend to use that so little that I sometimes forget which button it's assigned to. Only one path here. How? I literally walked right into that. How? Also, yeah, definitely evidence shown there of special deflecting things. Man. They seriously giving me like a no choice run here? Jeez. Or at least no path choice run? Oh well. That was close. Wow, that was okay. I kind of expected more enemies.
So you are son to Hades,
Zeus.
Nyx, the night goddess. Is that correct, nephew? Well, I suppose she's closest to a queen as your lord fathers like to find down there. I tried to match him up with some more wholesome types, but no, and here we are.
Alright, no fated choice here. And so we roll. Okay, so I rolled a 4, which, given 3 choices, leaves us with option 1. Lightning Strike. Your attack emits chain lightning when you damage a foe. Cool. And that's just the base attack.
Lord Zeus's strength.
Yeah. Codex updated. I assume the bold part is what's new. Once he overthrew the Titans, his own ancestors, to wrest control of all the heavens and the earth, he yet presides as ruler over all. Is that? Oh, hey, we have a choice now.
Where now?
I gotta say, so far, I'm not really getting any results from breaking things. Anyway, okay. We have 2 choices here. I'm gonna take this as option 1 and this as 2, just because the way that the room kind of moves you. Okay, I rolled a 6, which means this one.
More wretches.
Okay, there must still be at least something else.
This won't end well for you.
Oh, hello. There's a portal here. I don't know why it's saying I have rewards points waiting. Every time that comes up when I play a game that's specifically on Game Pass, it's like, assuming I already got reward points, generally speaking, for the day, it doesn't really actually give me anything. Okay. There's a shop here. I would say, shall I have a look, but I'm not even going to be able to buy much, am I? Because, yeah, I don't even have that much money. Nah. Okay.
Let me have it.
Here we go.
Within the underworld's quietest, most solitary, darkest abyss lies hidden evidence of the beginning of all things, of chaos. The most ancient sculptor.
What? Why is it? I don't know if we got that exact thing before, but it sure sounds familiar. Anyway. I think I already gave Chaos a gift once. I don't know if I want to do it again just yet.
I sensed a certain rumbling here within the bowels of the earth. It is as though it had ingested something that did not sit well. Perhaps the earth itself wishes to spit you up and out.
Not random, at least this time. Choose one. Enshrouded Lunge. The next 4 chambers... Chamber reward previews are hidden. Afterward, your dash strike deals plus 59% damage. Slothful Affluence. For the next 3 encounters, you have minus 50% movement speed. Afterward, any money you find is worth plus 40%. Adult Shot. For the next 4 encounters, each time you cast, get hit for minus 5 health. Afterward, cast deals plus 37% damage. Yeah, 3 doesn't seem too bad, because, like, yes, I've been using the cast, but there are plenty of times I have gotten away without using that. So, sure, I guess I'll take the addled shot.
Chaotic strength.
Okay. I don't think there's anything else to do here, really. And an elite, apparently. Fun.
You and me.
Oh, jeez. Oh, it's 2 of these guys. Yeah, fun. Yes, it would be great if both of you stay relatively close together. That way, chain lightning hits each time. Oh, jeez. There was a moment there where the one just kind of stopped doing anything. Okay, room cleared.
Anyone else?
Aphrodite.
Lord Ares on you, love. He's poorly understood among
I've-
the gods, yet surely you can see
I just realized I have not had any repeat encounters or, you know, repeat characters from which I've gotten boons. Hello, well, that's a fated choice there. So, any life gain chamber rewards are worth more. Okay.
Love it.
Cool. And seemingly no room choice here. Oh, jeez. Lots of enemies.
You're dead.
Okay. For a second, I thought maybe I got hit once, but no. I don't really see any sign of taking damage. And once again, no choice.
Very funny, Prince.
Oh.
Caught me on a break again.
I accidentally hit him when I used the special, didn't I? Okay. We gave him a gift already, too. So, again, I think I'll hold on to that.
If I may be so bold, Your Highness, I was wondering, what brings you back around this way again? Same story as last time?
Look, I have to level with you, Sisyphus. I'm leaving the house. I've had quite enough. You understand, I'm sure. I'm going to the surface.
Oh, that is quite an undertaking, Prince. If it wasn't you yourself proposing it, I'd like to call it madness, truth be told. Though, you're just mad enough to pull it off. Well, hey, I hope you make it. Good fortune out there.
So I could heal, or get some darkness, or get some obols, which I'm just calling coins or money. And we shall roll for this choice, I suppose. I have rolled a 2, which means we are gaining darkness. I suppose for the overall game progress, that's probably the best thing to get. Oh, I suppose next room is going to give me some... I forget. Is it nectar? Okay. One of these enemies is laying out mines all over the place. I don't like that. Where are you at? Oh, we got 2 enemies doing that. Well, that's definitely a problem. Oh my gosh. Enough with the mines.
Useless.
Although I guess there was some potential for those mines to hit the enemies too. Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know.
A bottle of nectar.
Nectar.
Who doesn't love this stuff?
Easy.
Yeah. Guess I could have used the mines against them. Oh well. They were also a bit annoying to just have lying around the field. And man, okay. I think I could see why Hades 2 might have done away with the lack of choice for the next room. Because it seems to be happening a lot here.
More louts.
And more enemies. And even more enemies. Fun. Ow. Definitely got hit by something there. At least I'm pretty sure I did.
Back to dust.
Okay.
A curse of chaos has expired.
Alright, now I can do the whole casting thing again without taking damage for it. Hooray! Looks like we're about to enter a shop anyway. I don't see much point in going to this little pool shop here. With that being the case.
Kieran's shop.
Hello.
Kieran, mate. Now, hypothetically, if I provided you with, say, 1,000 coins, would you be willing to give me a ride in your beautiful boat? Upriver, I should say, specifically. I had to ask.
Well, yeah, there's only one thing I can afford. I have not gotten too many obols this run. Okay, fine.
Thank you, mate.
Okay, well. Onward.
We meet.
Right.
What are you doing, Zagreus? The underworld is sealed off. What you're attempting is impossible. You've seen what happens when you go too far.
This place can't stay sealed shut forever, Meg. In the meantime, I thought I'd get some practice in, you know?
I'm not your practice partner, fool. You stay right there.
Ooh, yeah, okay. I definitely like the whole deflection aspect of that there. Whoa, hello. Although, when I've got attacks coming from more than one side, the whole deflection thing isn't quite as potent.
Requesting immediate assistance.
I missed. Oh, shoot. Walked right into that. Oh, jeez. Okay. Well, I got hit a couple of times, but that didn't go too terribly, I suppose.
I did it.
50 more darkness, jeez. That's over 100 I've gained just in this run already. Okay, what have we here? Yes, let's heal a bit. And probably not gonna get much from the shot. Slain foes have a 15% chance to drop healing items first 7 encounters. Well, I definitely don't want to sell. Keepsake. Oh, we're changing keepsakes.
My keepsake collection. Just what the house contractor ordered.
Every act. Okay. Sure. I'm down with that. So 1 and a 6 equals reroll. I rolled a 5, which means we're doing the 4th option, which is the Shattered Shackle. I know at least the attack and special have boons on them already. Some keepsakes have to change because they run out of uses. Eh? Didn't realize that was a thing. I don't think any of these keepsakes fit into that category. Anyway.
Might help.
I mean, that Eye of Lamia thing definitely could help. Oh, but now it's only saying 3 encounters? I thought that was more before. Well, you know what? Forget it then. One use per run. You only get her keepsake's benefit once per run, so that... Oh. Okay. Gotcha.
Up we go.
There's a limit per run, not like they expire forever after you use them a certain amount. Okay. I gotcha.
Change of scenery at least.
Okay, so that's one up. Do we only have one option again?
This place has definitely seen better days. Or nights.
Looks like only one option again.
Skull crushers.
Oh, jeez. Doggone it. I started attacking the one and Then I got hit by the other one. Doggone it. Where did... It's like somehow I end up missing the fact that they moved again. Okay, well there's one down. Okay. But now there's at least one more. Still more enemies. Ow. This is why I thought maybe I would like the whole healing drop thing. You... Oh.
Lord Ares.
Well, I definitely got hit a lot more than I wanted to there. Oh well.
Olympus, I accept this message.
Okay, no fated choice. So, rolling for this. Roll to 2. Showing it for evidence. Blade dash. Your dash creates a blade rift where you started. What's a blade rift? Slashing metal vortex rapidly deals damage in an area. Huh, okay. Ah, I see. I think I might have gotten that one before, actually. Or something like it. Alright. We do have 2 options this time. Yes, 2 options. So... Okay, this is number 1. No, I'm not embarking right now. I just got close so I could see the other one as well. Wait, event? Oh, the second thing over there with the exclamation mark, I guess. I mean, if we really think that's something new, I could maybe override the whole dice rolling thing. Doesn't matter, I rolled a 4.
Off we go. What? Singing? Here?
Where's the singing coming from?
Come on in.
Okay.
No. Didn't mean to step in the lava, jeez. Can I go there?
I think.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting song.
Hey, you must be the Hades kid. How's it going then, Your Royal Majesty? Nice to meet you. I'm Eurydice. What brings a big, important guy like you up to a place like this?
See, because the game's so quiet, I, didn't even really hear how her name's pronounced. Anyway.
Hi there. No need for formalities. I'm Zagreus. Just heading out on some official business, past the menacing Bone Hydra. Don't mean to be rude, though I'm in a bit of a rush.
Well, don't you have your hands full, hun? I'll let you go. But there's one rule in my place, which is nobody leaves here empty-handed. You got that? So take your pick. My treat.
Eurydice. I mean, that was kind of my guess on the pronunciation. Ambrosia Delight. Loved by the gods, up to 2 random boons of yours are upgraded to the next rarity. Palm Porridge, Underworld Delicacy, up to 4 random boons of your choice. Sorry, up to 4 random boons of yours gain +1 level. So wait, that's 2 random boons. Oh, next rarity, and that's next level. Okay. Refreshing Nectar, Rare and Fragrant Beverage. The next 3 boons you find have upgraded rarity. Okay, still rolling for it. And I have rolled a 4, which, again, given 3 choices, means number 1. Okay.
Excellent.
Wow, that's good.
So, it said Lightning Strike and Life Affirmation were upgraded. Okay, anyway. I don't believe there's another option. Yeah, I don't think I can actually go over that way. Guess I should. I mean, I took a brief look at it. Didn't totally read through the codex entry, though. Mortality and immortality are closer than most gods care to believe. There are such minor gods as can be killed. So it is with nymphs, and all the naiads and the dryads and the like, spirits of the woods and seas and skies, in life that captivate our mortal senses and imaginations, but in death, we all are more alike. Okay. And I guess I'm going here.
Thanks again.
Take it easy.
Check the boons so you can see what the rarity upgrade was. How do I check the boons? I've kind of forgotten how to do that, I think.
Spreaders.
Yeah, deflection. Oh, geez. I forgot there was an enemy like that. Yeah, you go ahead and keep getting yourself stuck on things. I definitely don't mind that.
More of you, huh?
Oh, jeez. Really? Doggone it. So many enemies and things going on at once. I really should probably be using my cast a bit more. Pick these up. Okay.
Vitality.
Gain 36 life, yeah. Button. There's the button for that. Okay. So it mentioned life affirmation and I forget what the other one was that got upgraded. Was it Lightning Strike? Yeah, I think that was just a... I think that was a common one at first. Yeah, and I think the lightning damage was just 10 before. Okay. Well, there's a shop that way, and another boon over that way, and I think those are the only directions. What is this? Oh, that's where I came in. Duh. Anyway. But yeah, I was thinking if I rolled such that I was about to go to the shop here, then I would maybe not get anything from this. But of course, I could still look. Restore up to 29 life. Gain 29 darkness. Passive gain +1 for your cast. For 6 encounters. But yeah, if I'm about to go to the shop anyway, doesn't make as much sense for me to buy something from there. Rolled a 4, which I would take to mean that I'm going to where the elite is. In light of that, I think I might get this life essence here. I mean, unless that's... I mean, since I'm choosing to go to the shop, I would hope that we're not considering that something to be, randomized. I mean, I could get the 29 darkness as well, but, meh. Alrighty, here we go. Well, I'm mostly healed at least. Oh, geez, okay. Doggone it. And there's a shockwave on that too, great. Really don't want to get turned to stone in the midst of this. So I'm kind of targeting the Medusa head thing. Ouch. Doggone it. Oh, come on. I dashed away. That wasn't far enough. Well, this is not going well. Pretty sure this is the kind of thing that did me in on an earlier run. Oh, come on! Why isn't the dash far enough to get out of that? Yeah, I needed the heal and it still wasn't enough.
Gorgons, what can you do?
Why is it showing it like there's a mission for me to gift nectar to someone?
Hail.
Hello, Achilles.
I've known great men throughout my life, and I can always tell when someone's better than their circumstances. Fight like I'd fight out there.
I'll give them hell as you once did, Achilles. Though doubtless many of the shades who stand against me first arrived in Tartarus because of you.
Oh?
Please make yourselves at home. Not as comfy as it looks.
Okay, nothing over there.
You are not to aid him in these matters, Nyx. His foolishness is to be scorned and reprimanded, not indulged. Do we have an understanding?
We have an understanding, Hades, yes. He is your own son, after all, and therefore your responsibility. I, in turn, have my commitments to this realm and to this house. You have aided me in them, so I remain, as ever, in your debt.
It is not necessary to remind me. Surely all those who once defied my brothers and myself would much prefer a post within my house over eternity within the lowest depths of Tartarus. Not that the darkness there would trouble you.
I hate it when they fight. Cerberus must be asleep somewhere.
You are irritating me, boy.
What, just by walking around here?
A vast and intricately crafted mosaic depicts the underworld king presiding over the enormity of his domain.
I suppose that's not super surprising.
Residents look on in awe of him.
He's not really that great.
Keep it down.
Meg.
What do you want from me? Leave me alone. We've nothing to discuss here anymore.
I was just checking up on you. Just let me know if you wanted to talk for any reason.
I'm not interested in having company, especially from you. You stay the hell away while I'm off duty.
Trade.
Wretched broker, what's
Oh, right. Yeah. I mean, trading darkness for a few of the keys might not be bad, but it's all stuff I would probably get eventually anyway.
Deuce is not here. Cooking's one way to pass the time.
Geez, no Cerberus, no Dusa. What's going on? Gem unlocks. Yeah, let's see what we might be able to get here, I guess. Well, not enough for any work orders. Is that new? I don't know if I remember seeing that before. Just colors and decorations and stuff. Meh. I could get a scrying pool. Contains faint traces of the past if you look closely. Okay. Certainly didn't seem like anything special. 500 darkness. No, I only have 368. Based on the bottom right corner there. Meaning, yeah, the 500 we're looking for another Death Defiance we do not have yet. %, instead of dying when your life total is depleted. 50% instead of... Like, why would anyone do the Stubborn Defiance? Or does that stack on top of Death Defiance? Are there any of these that okay, well I did that already. Okay. Flip sides do not stack.
You're pretty quick, you know, boyo. Just be sure to use that fancy dash of yours and keep them guessing. Don't let them catch you standing still.
Dash like mad instead of standing still. That's not the worst advice, I guess.
Okay. I suppose that's...
The path toward the surface.
I was gonna say, I suppose that's all we got. But walk out to the lobby. And gift once. Oh, right, yeah.
Court is now in session. Who is next?
I'm pretty sure we gifted both Nyx and Achilles once each.
Your claim is granted.
Actually, I don't know if we've gifted Meg anything yet. Is there a way to tell that? Where would I find that out? Maybe I didn't give Nyx a gift. Friend hearts is... yeah, so, like, there's a red heart here on Charon. Which makes me pretty confident that I gifted him. In fact, I'm pretty sure that I did. And I think I remember giving a gift to Aphrodite. So, yeah, if that's the sign, then I didn't give either one a gift? Jeez, I thought for sure I had at least given Achilles a gift. Listen, to that.
What do these shades have to say for themselves?
Okay. It looked like I thought I had an option to give Nyx a gift just a bit ago. Why does that not seem to be the case now? Maybe if I leave the room and come back. Nope. Huh. Okay, guess not. Okay, how about Achilles? Sure.
Hey, Achilles. Look, this really isn't much, but here.
This really is for me? You beat me to it then, as I had meant to give you this when next we spoke. Please, take it.
Thanks so much, sir.
Yeah, okay, that shows that for him now. I'm pretty sure Meg also did not have that. So, yeah, that... okay. So I'm guessing that's another keepsake now. But, yeah, Achilles... So, you know, reason to regale you with stories of my past, suffice it. That's quite a bit of text that got added there. Sorry, did you want me to read that out loud? New keepsake.
That's something new to try.
Myrmidon Bracer. Take minus 20% damage from the front, but plus 10% from the back. Fitting for an item tied to Achilles. But, yeah, I was going to say, as things stand, I believe I'm about ready to wrap things up. Let me just go ahead and quit here. Progress saved less than a minute ago, so yeah, that's probably including the latest stuff that I did. Okay. And I suppose that shall be all. Sorry, hearing the game's background music was distracting me a bit. Okay. So I suppose that will do it for me. Sorry. Yeah, while I talk about what's coming up next, I'll look into possible raid targets. So, tomorrow should be more of Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory. I believe, like, it'll be starting off with kind of wrapping up memories and music from the tail end of Kingdom Hearts 2. And then we'll see what it gets into after that. I'm not 100% sure, honestly. So yeah. Melody of Memory tomorrow. Week from today is Job 19 and 20 with some sort of side questing stuff. Friday next week is going to be Borderlands 4. And I guess more specifically doing stuff in the one major region I haven't yet done side questing stuff. Carcadia. That's what it's called. So yeah. There's the upcoming schedule. You know, it's funny you mentioned Mama Brick Builds. I just right off the top of my head, that was who I got an inkling to raid. Partially because I'm not sure if I've ever raided her channel before. Oh, there's a blessing boat this Saturday. So, anyone not named Seth who might be watching and possibly doesn't know what the blessing boat is, the general gist is it is a sequence of Christian streamers all doing like a raid chain, so to speak. So it'll start with one person. It'll, be on their stream for about an hour, and then they raid out to somebody else who then is featured for the next hour. And you get to know them a little bit if you don't already. You get to chat, interact, see what they do. And then after their hour, they raid out to another person. I want to say it goes from 8 or 9 a.m. to sometime in the afternoon, definitely. I forget when exactly the end time is. I'm thinking 5 p.m. But I'm not 100% sure on that. Also, times have changed. Okay. Oh, it's okay. So it's all afternoon, 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern. Okay, interesting. So, yeah, there's the actual time mentioned. I keep pointing in different directions, but I guess it's this one. Since last month, at least. Okay. But yeah, Blessing Boat's kind of a cool thing, especially as a way to, find Christian streamers you might not be familiar with. So, definitely check that out on Saturday if you're looking to find some new people to watch. But yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and raid out to Mama Brick Builds here. You can see my upcoming stream schedule to the side there for tomorrow and next week. So anyway, that is going to do it from me. I hope you're all doing well. Hopefully I'll see you soon for another stream. Feel free to check out edited YouTube stuff in the meantime. I keep forgetting to mention the Discord server at some earlier point in the stream, so I'm not rushing it, and could actually maybe put the link in the chat and keep it there a bit. But anyway. So yeah. Whatever ends up happening, until the next time I see y'all, stay cool, everybody. Wait. Apologies. Canceling the raid. I have exercise to do. After that, we'll do the raid. Yeah, I know I definitely got distracted there. Seems like you might have as well. Okay. Before I go, one more bit of exercise. All right, I have rolled a 2, which is what? Sit-ups? Okay. Sure hope that doesn't pop my collarbone back out of place. I don't think that's actually what happened per se, but that was the thing that caused the slight collarbone pain before. Well, I'm not doing sets of 1. Okay, well, another 2. And how many sets? Okay, so we're going for 10 sit-ups this time. Yeah, appreciate the reminder there, Seth. Otherwise, I might have had to just try and return your channel points there. Okay. And now I think I can unpin that. See, the pins work. They're good reminders. Alrighty. Getting this out so I'm not directly on the hard floor. Okay, almost didn't work. Yeah, true. You can't force people to be observant, I guess. Alrighty. Yep. Okay. 10 sit-ups. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Pretty sure that's not as many as I rolled last time, so that actually wasn't terrible to do 10 of those. Okay. If you pin something else, I can screenshot. Okay, well, I don't know if we need to... Actually... There. I'm gonna put that message in chat and then pin it real quick. Y'all can feel free to copy that and then paste it in the chat of, you know, like, post-raid. Okay, now we can actually go ahead and do the raid. Oh, it says we raided out already? Okay, well then, That's it for me. It said I rated out. I don't know. There was a weird thing going on. Help.
I know you got lots of friends on too. I know Steph's one of your favorites. She's been streaming like for a week, so I'm sure you've had plenty of.
Yeah, and it's not showing like any of my viewers moved. Okay, well. Let's try it again, maybe. Okay. Okay, now it should really be working. For sure. Yeah, okay. Oh, I took the pin off for a bit because I figured we were just testing the thing out. Anyway, okay. Repinned. I don't know if y'all can actually even copy and paste from there, but I have it pinned just in case you can. Feel free to post that in Mama Brick Builds' chat once we fully do the raid. Okay, so yeah, again, that's it from me, for real this time. Hope you're all doing well. Hopefully I'll see you soon for another stream. Whatever ends up happening. Till next time. Stay cool, everybody.